like to discuss a new theory. I'm going to call it, for lack of a better name right now, the John Dee's theory of determined choice. And it may sound a bit crazy, and yet the more I think about it, the less crazy it does seem. And here's the way it works. I can reconcile in this new theory Einstein's theory of local variables, and for the looking at the EPR paradox, and the fact that there's freedom at the time the choice is made of measurement of a particle of one, like say particle A or particle B, whichever is done first. First of all, there's no action at a distance. But there is a type of retrocausality. Now, once particle A is measured to B, it was indeterminate. It was a superposition of different spins, let's say up and down. Once it's measured, however, it becomes either wholly one or the other. It's either up or down, and the other particle becomes the opposite. Now, how does that happen? Well, I think there's such a thing as retrodetermination. The fact that we measure the particle A as up now reverberates throughout its local history. Where it was indeterminate, it is now no longer indeterminate, it is determinate. In other words, the past history of the particle is now determined. And the past history of the associated particle B is also determined. And so now they're of course they're opposite. If you measure up on one, the other one has to be negative. And now once the once the collapse of the wave function occurs, then it's collapsed really for its local history as well as for the present moment. So now particle B is affected because when particle A is determined, that affects its local history, and that local history is tied to the local history of particle B. And it also relates to our free choices. There may be an indeterminacy in our brains that is there before we make let's say the free choice is how to do a certain measurement. The same measurement, let's say, that reveals particle A to be spin up. It's our free choice to make that measurement. We make that decision. Now, prior to that, there was an indeterminacy in our history or in our brain's history where we could have made the choice one way or we could have done it maybe one or more other ways. But we did do one way, and now we do that crystallizes the indeterminacy that was in our own makeup, our own nervous system makeup, back to whenever the indeterminacy began to occur. And so we have what is called, I call, a determined choice or determined freedom. It's a little bit hard to contemplate, but I just really believe this is true. I think the past history of a particle or of our own nervous system is determined when a choice is made or when a particle is discovered, observed, to be to be spin up or to be spin down. It solves many problems. It solves Einstein's problem because in the end, there are yes, the particle now, once it's been discovered to have spin up, it's been discovered to have spin up since its release with the spin up, since it and its partner particle, have been released. So that Einstein was correct, but on the other hand, quantum mechanics is Nothing that I have said contradicts or changes any interpretation of any measurement that we would get from quantum mechanics, including Bell's inequality. All of that still applies. However, once that particle is discovered to be up or down, and then particle B is discovered to be the opposite, and our free choice has been involved in performing a particular experiment. Then once that's happened, then the history of the particles and the history of the indeterminacy which allowed me to make a free choice is all determined. Now there's everything has been determined at that point. But it doesn't take anything away from the fact that both particles were indeterminate before one of them was observed, and that the free choice was indeterminate until our ego, if you want, or our brain system makes a choice. Amen.